You hear that? That is the sound of rain in the woods. Just like the way John Anderson from Yes would have wanted the intro to his next spin on the wheel to be. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Justin, along with my brother Adam and our friend Jack. We spin a wheel here at the 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. This week, my brother Adam spun the wheel. He spun Yes's Close to the Edge from 1972. And I think this is the perfect environment to sit back and listen to Close to the Edge. What do you guys think?
I said yes!
Hoorah!
To Yes. And I had heard Close to the Edge before, and I was excited to kind of jump back into it and see once again what they had to offer on this claimed 38-minute 3-song adventure that they came up with.
It's going to be a Yes album. Don't know if it's going to be a Yes album that has songs I'm familiar with. Have very long songs that have moments where I enjoy them and then moments that I do not.
I've listened to Close to the Edge a few times before. I own both Fragile and the Yes album. At least for my memory's sake, Close to the Edge, me being disappointed listening to it before. But listening to it 4 times in a week, I'm curious to see if that disappointment turns to enlightenment. Because I'm really not a Prog guy. Adam, Jack, how about you guys?
Do you get excited about it? Do you get wary about it? And worried. I'm in the apprehensive camp.
You know, there's a fine line close to the edge of teetering between great and obscure, overindulgent. And that's kind of how I feel with prog rock.
I look back at some 70s prog rock and I just see a fantasy land that I don't really want to visit. Great musicianship in a lot of the stuff, but that doesn't always make for music I want to hear or I think you must hear.
A lot of people don't realize this, but there is a not so big a line between really good prog rock and really bad musical dinner theater. And Yes crosses that line several times during the 18-minute title track Close to the Edge.
It depends. I mean, there is fun prog rock that's radio friendly that you can really get into. I think Close to the Edge teeters on the edge of overindulgent and not radio friendly, but perfectly comes together to give you a big wow moment.
So, again, I'm apprehensive. Prog rock, I don't know why they call it movements instead of a next title or a next song name. It always seems a little snooty to me. I don't like it. I'm looking directly at you, John Anderson.
I like to look at Yes. It seems like each album they have a different starting 5 as far as basketball. Who's the starting 5 going to be? At point guard, John Anderson. At center, Bill Bruford. We've got 5 different guys here coming at things, different angles, different backgrounds. Bruford's more of a jazz guy. Rick Wakeman feels like he should be playing on Mars with the keyboards. Big sound. John Anderson comes to me like Yoda sometimes, the Yoda of prog rock. And Steve Howe is just a great guitar player, and Chris Squire has his own bass sound too. I like that we've all come to the conclusion that Close to the Edge's MVP, who overpowers this album the most, is...
And the MVP of this album is Rick Wakeman.
The standout, though, on this is Wakeman.
Rick Wakeman really overtakes Close to the Edge. He was more complimentary on Fragile, and on this album, he brings those keys. I hear if you say his name 3 times, he'll appear in your kitchen. Rick Wakeman, Rick Wakeman, Rick Wakeman.
All 5 musicians on this album deserve a pat on the back, and they musically just gelled really well on this album. I've always enjoyed John Anderson's vocals, his sound. You know it's a Yes song when you hear him singing.
They know what their product is, and they had a taste of success, and they took it to another level, depth that they hadn't experienced before. Not to take anything away from Steve Howe, because he's playing country music basically on some of these, where he'll break it down, pieces of it, hoedowns and whatnot. I'm not sure that this is the strongest lyrical album from Yes. So if I had to rank it, his voice is in great shape. I'm not sure about a lot of these vocals, or the lyrics rather.
That's a great point, Jack. The lyrics on this, there's nothing on Close to the Edge that stands out, remember in your brain the same way that you do on the Yes album or Fragile, except for things like I Get Up, I Get Down. Anderson said his inspiration was from a novel that he read 1922. I think it's called Siddhartha, that being about a spiritual journey. And as usual, a dream he had.
Title track starts, you're in the enchanted tiki room for a little bit, the rain and calling and whatnot.
Close to the Edge, yes, holds a special place in my heart. I enjoy it. Red, where Yes had realized that the fans were really starting to enjoy some of their longer songs and getting into it more and more live in concerts. So they were trying to find ways to make longer songs that would be entertaining, play live. And I think all three of the songs would be fun to see them play live. All the parts of it.
My favorite song on here is Siberian Catru. Love the music in that thing. It's a great workout, a great way to end the album. And You and I, my least favorite thing on here. It's pretty and also pretty corny, but still better than Wonder Stories that would come a couple years later. Back to the beginning of Close to the Edge. What's your take on that, Jack?
And then it's building up. Everybody's tuning like the beginning of an orchestra. And then, 4 minutes in, now it's time to blow my mind with words now that it's been expanded by guitars and keyboards and drums. And he opens with a seasoned witch could call you from the depths of your disgrace. Rearrange your liver to the solid mental grace. I think he's just going for words that rhyme and have a certain number of syllables.
I do get that you're close to the edge of sanity, but also you get close to the edge of that every day with the frantic lifestyle, and sometimes you got to meditate and get back to the river. And I think that's what the central theme is, Close to the Edge. You get up, you get down, all comes back together at the end, but not before we get church organ style. I don't even know if it's a church organ. A Hammond? It's probably a Hammond organ. I don't know my organ tones. I do picture Rick Wakeman in a cape playing it, though. Really lights it up around the 12-minute mark of this thing.
Right at the end of part 3 of I Get Up, I Get Down, where he just blasts off into using an organ into another hemisphere and just blows that song into uncharted territory. And it's just a fantastic moment. Makes him, and then throughout the album, makes his synthesizers, things like that, just really holds all of their songs tight.
So I'm familiar, and I really enjoyed the first movement of And You and I, the Chord of Life, with just the naked guitar for a little bit, and then just that little pew that comes in from the and that I might not be on key. The lyrics make sense to me during that 3-minute movement, so I really enjoyed that. I think it's beautiful.
Drummer Bill Bruford left for King Crimson after this. He said things got so nuts that Chris Squire was tuning his bass and trying to get the exact sound that he wanted. Bruford took a nap, he said, for several hours, and he'd wake up and nothing had changed. Squire would still be trying to tune that bass to the perfect sound that he wanted. And Bruford was also responsible for the title of the album, because Close to the Edge was the conditions it was trying to be in the studio getting this thing done.
The old headphones on, nod to you, Jack. Gotta listen to with the headphones on sometimes and listen to it one more time. It is really something. I think they did a great job of arranging and doing something special on this album.
They were pushing themselves. They clearly are musicians that are proud of their abilities, and they wanted to get better, and they wanted to show that they were improving. John Anderson is bringing his high-pitched Monkey Man voice to the party, but his lyrics aren't there.
In and around the lake. Okay, we take the 3 songs on Close to the Edge, give them a rating of 1 to 10, and divide that number by 3 to get these numbers. Add them with the highest at a 7.167. I gave it a 6.67, and Jack a 5.67. Overall rating of a 6.5. Now, our top 3 is pretty funny because each of us had a different favorite song of the 3. Adam's being Close to the Edge, mine being Siberian Catru, and Jack's being And You and I. As far as the numbers go, Siberian Catru was the highest, and You and I was at the lowest.
I had a delayed yes satisfaction.
All right, 1,001 albums you must hear before you die. Is Close to the Edge one of those albums you must hear? This was a really tough call for me because I've said that Tubular Bells was something you must listen to before you die. This is better than Tubular Bells by a good spell. I haven't looked at the wheel to see if the Yes album or Fragile is on the wheel. I'm trying not to so I can get surprised like I did with something else by the Kinks a few weeks ago. Doing this exercise has made me realize is that I am more of a radio-friendly prog guy, and I guess that is what came before Close to the Edge, and definitely what came after I am not a fan of up into the 80s. So I'm going to say no to Close to the Edge. And I'm sure if you're listening and you're a big prog rock fan, you're disappointed that I'm saying this, but it's okay. We all get up, we all get down. Adam?
I say yes to Close to the Edge. I think it's an album you absolutely need to listen to, not just once, but a few times to really appreciate the complexity of the music and the ideas that they had formed on this album. It's kind of like a cornucopia of ideas coming together. Feels like the aurora borealis of sounds, beautifully mixed. And, like I said, Rick Wakeman just throws it down. He's just a madman on the keys. So definitely need to listen to this one before you die.
Yes makes me wait too long to get to familiar Yes territory. So I am going to say that 18-minute track, although isn't overly self-indulgent as some other long-form singles are, but this is not an album that I feel you should listen to before you die. I'm very comfortable believing that the Yes album or Fragile, maybe even 90210 or whatever the name of that one was, and then I've just gotten a text from JHO.
Good call.
The Yes album and Fragile scratch my Yes itch way better than
Good call.
Close to the Edge. So no, this is not an album you must hear before you die.
Again, stressing, I do like this album. I think I like some other albums a little bit more, though, by Yes. So 2 no's and 1 yes. We'll see if any more yes pops up on that great big wheel, which I am about to spin right now for album number 37. Here we go. And the wheel is spinning. And our 37th album is taking us back to this century with the Providence, Rhode Island band Lightning Bolt and their album Wonderful Rainbow. From our brother Adam and our friend Jack, I am Justin. We hope you have a great week. Thanks for listening. If it's your first time, give us a little subscribe button so you hear more each Monday, and follow along on Spotify as well. Take care, everybody.
So the first ever rock concert I ever got to go to, drive to the old amphitheater up the road from our house, and got to see Yes, which is surprising for a sophomore in high school to go see. And I knew Yes from the Yes album. I've Seen All Good People was always a favorite when I was a kid. My dad had the album, and then Owner of a Lonely Heart was always a big song. So, the album I can remember the most is 90125.
Or 90210.
I realized I was able to find a set list, and they only played one song from Close to the Edge, and that was And You and I, wedged between a piano solo and I've Seen All Good People. An older version of myself would have went and enjoyed that concert a lot more, and I would have definitely enjoyed And You and I, and the second half of it would be kind of fun to sing along to with a crowd of Yes fans.